Jeremy Miner. All right. So every Wednesday we go live in our Facebook group and we interview a client. Now there's certain criteria that these clients have to be. They have to have a certain percentage, certain closing percentage. They have to be at a certain amount of sales per month, per year to be interviewed. And they even have to be at like a certain level financially. Like obviously they're getting results. So when you learn how to sell more, it's a good thing because your company's what? Your company is forced to have to pay you more because you're selling more. So that's always a good thing. So every week we bring out a new client. Now let's bring out this client. Vlad, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, not gonna complain.
You
Doing
know,
doing good.
it's always good when you learn skills to sell more. Life gets a little
Yeah,
bit easier over there. Now,
yeah,
Vlad,
just
why
a
don't you
little.
just a little bit? Now, Vlad, where do you live? You're over in Europe, right?
Yeah, I'm living in Romania
Living in
right
Romania,
now.
over there by Transylvania, or what's going on?
Yeah, in the heart of it.
That was a joke, but that makes sense. I love that.
Yeah,
You see, if you're over in America, they always, when they hear Romania, we think vampires and Transylvania. I mean, I know it sounds dumb,
yeah,
but that's what Americans think of.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
what do you sell? What industry are you in?
So right now I'm selling training for personal trainers to get their like how can I say it? To get their to go into online fitness and
Okay.
earn more money.
Okay, so it's
Yes. So
you're like in the fitness, like coaching industry, training
yeah.
industry, where you sell like a program, maybe workout, nutrition stuff that helps people lose weight, get more muscle, get toned, get their health back.
I was selling that, and after that transition to like a BZOP for personal trainers to start their own business.
Okay, so your company helps people that are in that industry, like personal trainers
Yeah,
that maybe work for a gym,
yeah,
teaches them how to start their own kind of personal training business.
yeah.
Okay, that's good.
On
Start their own
online
company.
fitness.
I love that. That's a big niche that we train as well. Now, how long have you been a client? I don't think I even asked you that before I got on here with you.
Yeah, I've been a client since October last year.
You've been here
Yeah,
forever. Not even a year. You've been here about 10
yeah,
months. Now let's talk about I want to talk about pre-NEPQ and then I want to talk about after NEPQ. And then like I always promise everybody, we will always I'll ask you some questions about maybe what we've trained you because I think you're in our advanced inner circle training program, right?
yeah.
Okay, that's more industry specific, right? Where I basically do the group training calls. We only let 60, I think we only let 60 new people a month into that program or something. It's a very small group that we let into that program. You have to get certified in the other programs first. But when we let you in there, basically we give you access to our industry specific scripts for all industries and we teach you how to tweak those. I do that myself. And really the advanced tonality that's taught by me. Now, let's go back before NEPQ. How did Vlad
Yeah.
used to sell?
So before NPQ, I just joined like online thing selling fitness
Okay.
to regular men,
Yeah.
and I was doing like consultative selling because
Yeah.
that was the big thing in Romania last year, and it's
Okay.
still now.
Okay.
It was decent, let's say, but I didn't feel like I can help the people because I was very surface level with them,
Yeah.
and
Okay. So you
of
were
course
asking
didn't.
questions. Consultative selling, I would say it's better than boiler room selling for sure. But you're asking questions to find the needs of the client. But as you know, a lot of that type of questioning is more generalized, kind of
Right.
surface level questions. And what type of answers did your prospects usually give you?
Very generalized, and I it was very hard for me even for commissions and everything because before that I did boiler room selling and learned to just pressure them, objection handle them, but
Yeah. Well, and
feeling
that's not
feeling
saying that we don't help them
anxious.
overcome their objections, but we do it in a lot more effective way, right? What type of,
Yeah,
okay, so before you got into NEPQ, where, and I don't know if you track the data, but what do you feel like your closing percentages were
it
pre-NEPQ?
it was around 32 to 37%.
Okay. So you're closing, not, that's not horrible for that industry.
Yeah.
But as you know, can be better. Because I know people in the industry that close 15%. So you're definitely doing double what a lot of people are that even use those techniques. Now, a lot of people would say, hey, I'm closing 32, 35% in that industry. Now, that means different things in other industries. Like if you're in life insurance, that's going to be completely different. They're like, I'm closing 35% of every age lead I talk to. They'd be extremely happy. But when you're getting
Yeah.
inbound leads that book on your calendar, it's a different
Yeah.
ballgame. What caused you, 10 months ago to be like, hey, maybe I can learn more skills. Maybe I can learn better questions. Maybe I can learn how to use my tonality. What caused you to go out there and try to find better training?
Yeah, when I started in that niche to sell, I stumbled around you on Instagram,
Okay.
and I was following you
Yeah.
on YouTube. Was on a run, and in one of your videos, you were asking what is like your biggest expense in life. And when you asked that questions, I was like that. I stopped and really think about that. And when you said about the deals that I'm losing, I
Yeah.
ran as fast as I could home and
Yeah.
starting to calculate my lost commission.
Yeah.
And after
Because
that,
think about it, right? Because like you're what do you make? Like what does your company pay you like on average per commission? Like, what do you get paid? Like per
um,
sale?
uh, in that industry, I was being paid like 150 euro.
Okay,
Yeah.
so about $150, 150 euros. Now, after you got into NEPQ and you got going, you got into our Advanced Inner Circle program, where did your closing percentages go to?
So in the fitness, in the last month before joining the other offer, it was 87 point something percent.
So you
I
went from, you're
closed,
talking about, okay, yeah, because these are booked appointments,
yeah.
book leads, right? And that is extremely high for that industry. Like if you can get up to 50%, you're crushing it, But if you get, we got a lot of people in your space, in that high ticket space that are doing 70, 75, 80, 85%. So going from 32, 35% to 87%, what does
Yeah.
that do for you?
Yeah, it made me a lot of money, but not only the closing percentage, because I was able to sell the bigger packages, and
Mm.
my income just eight x
Okay.
from.
Okay. So what you're saying is because a lot of salespeople, they might be selling quite a bit, but they don't have the skill
Yeah,
sets to sell like higher price products or services or programs, right? They're selling like the
right.
the bottom one because they can't overcome the money objection or they're afraid, to even start up high and negotiate down if they can't get funding. What do you feel like are two or three skills that I trained you in Advanced Inner Circle that really elevated you from going from selling the smaller packages to the top packages for your industry?
So my top two were like, first
Yeah.
of all, disarm the prospect
Okay. Hmm.
by connection,
Yeah.
and sitting doubt in the situation question. And after that, it was like walking apart
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
because
Yeah, because seating doubt, that's where I really teach you that in Advanced Inner Circle, because I have to teach you the tone with your questions. Now, give me an example of maybe a situation question that we've trained you to ask and how you ask it with your tone that really seeds that doubt. Can you give us an
yeah.
example?
So with the situation question, I went a different route
Yeah.
because me not knowing English very well, I
Yeah.
had to really understand the meaning of the questions.
Yeah.
And I started with like basic thing, what they are doing for a living and what's their job,
Sure.
finding out how many hours are they working, and
Okay.
if they have anything else to.
That's a personal training business where they work a job as a personal trainer for a gym, but they want to start their own.
No, no, in fitness I was doing that
Well, you were okay.
because I was asking them if, because of their job, they are stressed or are tired.
Ah, I
Because
see.
Romanians love to complain. It's like a national thing in
Ah,
here.
okay.
And if they, all of them told me like, yeah, it's stressed. And I was like, is that affecting your eating habits? And they were like, yes, I don't do nothing. I eat like shit. And
Yeah. How
after
how
that,
is that how is that affecting your? your eating habits being stressed like
Yeah,
that. It's that tone,
yeah,
right? That tone that
yeah.
seeds doubt in their mind. Now, when I started training you how to use your tone to seed doubt in the prospect's mind, especially in the situation question phase, what did you start noticing changed within your prospects? Like, what did you start noticing from them?
They became more open, and they really like gave me the real situation, because
Yeah,
before asking the questions with good tonality, they were like, yeah, I try to do this, I try to do that, is
yeah,
doing great.
yeah.
And I was like just in a battle with them to make them understand that
Yeah.
they are not doing something great and not
Yeah, because
sitting
a
down.
lot of salespeople, what they do is they just use this monotone tone, or they'll use like a curious tone every question they ask. And the prospect doesn't really emotionally open up to that. They'll just give them surface level answers. So now in situation questions, as you know, we're not going to ask the hard questions up
Yeah,
front. We're typically going to ask two or three that are easier to answer and then go into that, harder emotional question, because we have more trust and credibility at that point. But it's all how we see it in our turn. Oh,
yeah.
so you're still okay, so you're driving back and forth that way. How is that affecting like your eating habits? See, that
Yeah,
soft concerned tone seeds doubt, right? Rather
yeah,
than if I'm like, oh, so you're still driving back and forth. How does that affect your eating habits? Oh,
yeah.
it's not that good. So you just give like a surface level answer. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, what you talked about disarming the prospect. That's really key. We really teach a lot of advanced techniques in the inner circle program I do for every industry about disarming techniques right when they get on Zoom. If you sell in the home, if you sell at their company headquarters, if you're selling B2B, if you're selling, virtually, if you're selling on the door, on the phone, it doesn't really matter. There's tweaks that we teach for all the different industries. What were some things we taught you for your industry to really disarm them, to get them where they just let their guard down?
So for the first thing for me was to like not be excited on the when I join with them on the call, and be like pretty bored and go straight to the point. So
Yeah.
it was like, hello, Jeremy, can you hear me? Can you see me? Yeah, all right. So it looks to me that you book this call with me to look for possible ways to help you lose like 10 kilo. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, get them in results
Mm,
based thinking. Now, I want to make sure everybody
yeah,
understand. Glad does not mean like there's a difference between being boring, like where you're just like you're so boring that nobody wants to hear you, and there's a complete difference in being so excited where you trigger sales resistance because you sound like an over enthusiastic salesperson, right? So there's like a middle ground where you're communicating like you're the expert, you're the trusted
yeah,
authority, right? You're not overly excited, but you're not so boring that you sound weird, right? So, okay, so it looks like you're still assertive like this. Okay, so it looks like you booked on the calendar, I guess, about looking at possible maybe outside help with wanting to lose, I think, 10 kilos, right? Maybe get a little bit more tone. Okay, and it kind of
yeah.
even lower my voice and kind of soften it in that concerned tone when I'm talking about weight, because weight is a really personal thing. So to really, lose more weight, right? Right, lower that tone, especially if you're talking to a woman. You really want to lower that tone, that soft, concerned tone when you're talking about weight. And what did you notice? Instead of getting on there and saying, "Hey, how's it going? How you doing? Where do you live? I love Florida. It's so great. How's the weather there?" Because as you know, your prospects don't genuinely believe you really care about how their day's going, right? Because every
Yeah.
salesperson asks those same predictable questions. You might as well just say like, "Hey, I'm trying to get you to like me so I can sell you my thing." That's what they're thinking. But what did you notice your prospects started doing when you started getting them into results-based thinking?
Yeah, they started to open up more, and
Yeah.
also my calls went from like 1 hour and 30 to like 35 to 40 minutes. So they
Yeah, that's a
started to view me.
difference here. Yeah, so listen to this. So your calls used to be 90 minutes and you were closing on average 32 to 37%. Then we train you how to interject, right? When they started going off
Yeah.
on tangents. Tell us about interjection. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so this was a very big thing for me because I mastered what I needed to hear from them, and the right moment when I got what I needed, I verbal cue and then bridge into the next question, because with fitness people, and also with like business, people like to give the answer then justify why it's not like a big deal and something. And I was like very precision probing with them
Mhm.
to help them not get excuses and to really like uh, keeping them on track.
Yeah, you interject because a lot of times when you ask a question, as you know, they'll
Yeah,
start giving you, they'll start talking the first 30 seconds, then it goes into 3 or 4 minutes where they're just talking about random stuff that had nothing to do with the question you
yeah,
asked. And most salespeople they're taught just, oh, I got to sit there and listen the whole time. But the problem is your prospect's brain gets unorganized. It gets uncertain because it starts going all over the place. Then your calls go way overboard and they're like, hey, I don't
yeah,
have much time. Can you just tell me how much it's going to cost? Or they just get worn out mentally, like an hour and a half sales call. That's insane.
yeah,
So hour and a half sales call to get 33, 34% conversions. Then you got up to, I think you said 85 to 87%, and your calls were 35 minutes.
yeah,
So you're almost closing 3 times the volume, but you can handle almost 3 times the sales calls now because your calls are 75% shorter.
yeah. I didn't do that to do three times the call because I love learning. I was like on the Facebook group like
Yeah.
6 hours a day,
Yeah.
every day in my car, watching, rewatching, and
Yeah. Well, you have the opportunity to do that now because you have way more time. Like if you've got 5 scheduled calls a day and they each go an hour and a half, your day's gone, right? But if you've got 5 scheduled calls a day and they're each 35 minutes, you're working like 20 hours a week, maybe
yeah,
25 at the most, and you got a lot of time flexibility. And when you're selling almost 3 times as much, your company is forced to have to pay you more, right? Okay,
yeah.
so what are some other things besides disarming the prospect, besides seeding doubt? Maybe give the folks a few other things that we've really trained you in Inner Circle that's really brought this to life for you. They give them some golden nuggets.
Yeah, so another thing that was for me was to really master the concern tone
Mm.
with fitness, and to help them to open up about their problems, how they are making them feel for how long, and especially the impact on their life. Because
Yeah, give us an example of that. Like, what's a good question we taught you to use with that concern tone?
yeah, so how I started my problem awareness, it was like, so based on what you told me, I mean, do you like what you're doing now to lose weight, and especially the results you've been getting?
Yeah, see how he
Yeah,
uses tone there. See, his tone comes across like it's kind of a little bit like skeptical, but more concerned. And why does
yeah,
that concern tone work so well?
because the prospects are like interpreting the meaning
Mhm.
behind the words.
Yeah. Yeah. And it shows that you're concerned. You have empathy for them, right?
Yeah,
That you know something about the things they've tried in the past that probably is not that good, but you're not saying it,
yeah,
but you're concerned for them. One thing I'll add to it that you might not have learned yet in Inner Circle, you must have missed those training calls, is when you lean in, okay, instead of saying just do you like, you can lean in and say, so do you, I mean, with all these, fitness programs you've done in the past and the weight loss dieting stuff, I mean, do you 100% like the results you've been getting? So that 100% even takes it to a new level. Do you know why? Because
yeah,
everybody
because
say,
nobody.
yeah,
Yeah, nobody likes the 100%. I'm using that now in
yeah,
the new offer,
yeah,
and it's working great.
yeah.
I
Now
don't
this
feel
is,
very good now because that's why I don't join like the live calls on the inner circle, because I sound way better in Romanian, and in
yeah.
English I feel like embarrassed of my
Oh, it's all
tonality.
right, man. Yeah, like all of our training programs, I believe in I want to say late 2024. I'm just going to say early 2025, first quarter of 2025. It might be the last quarter of 2024, but I don't want to overpromise here. So, early quarter of 2025, most with AI, they should be able to get into the virtual training programs if they're a client and be able to pick the language they want me to train them in, like Romanian. So it's about 95% accurate, even the tonality, even the lip movements and everything. But the cultural stuff's a little bit different, right? But you guys know your culture better than us. But the words, the questions, the tone with AI, it's about 95% there. So it's pretty cool. Everybody will like pick the language, Spanish, French, Romanian, Czech, Polish, Portuguese, whatever you guys speak, Mongolian, Chinese, whatever, Taiwanese, and it'll be there. It's pretty awesome. We even have it there for you guys that are in Australia, the Australian language. I'm just joking. Anyway, I had to throw that to some of my Aussies on our team. Okay, so that's really important because when you ask that question, a lot of people say, "No, gosh, no," or they'll say, "Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's 100%," and you got to say, "Not 100%." I could say not 100%. Now, if right there at that second, you always want to pause about 2 seconds, okay? Because when you have your hand on your chest, hold on, not 100%? Yeah, oh gosh, the other day, and they'll tell you something they don't like, or they'll just kind of pause and they'll be like, yeah, there's some things I don't like. And then you got to say, oh, what don't you like? So there's like a little thing you have to do there to make sure. But you're right, nobody likes 100% of anything they have. I always give the analogy when I do a keynote or something, think about the person you're dating or that you're married to. The first 2 or 3 months, you thought they were perfect. You literally thought they were the angels from on high. They could do no wrong. And then 6 months later, after the honeymoon phase was over, you started seeing stuff that maybe you didn't like. And they did too, right? So we as human beings, we never like anything 100%. There's always something we want better or something would change. That's why that 100% right there is so good. That's a really good way to build the gap. What else? Give us a couple other things that we've really taught you that's really elevated your game.
Yeah, so a very big thing for me was to prevent objections
Yeah.
because it was very very hard for me selling in Romania
Yeah.
because the program that I was selling is like 5 times the price of the average income in Romania. So I
Right.
really had to prevent almost all the objections.
Yeah. So you're talking about pre-framing. So give us an
Yeah.
example of maybe an objection in your industry that before an EPQ you would get a lot at the end,
Yeah.
but now you've learned how to kind of pre-frame that so you get that far less.
Yeah, so the first one that I was able to pre-handle was do it by myself because they were like after the price, not having the skills, they were like, I'm just gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
So I
Which is
started to
crazy. Well, I want to say this, which is crazy
yeah,
to think about, right? Because if they could do it themselves, they would have already solved it. So
yeah,
and I know, and everybody knows on here that if a prospect gives you that objection, obviously they don't know how to do it themselves. Otherwise, they would have never been on the call. They would have been able to solve it. Keep going.
yeah. So the way I did that was by the rationale.
Yeah.
And how I did it was like, okay, I understood, but let me see the rationale. So besides you wanting us to help you to lose that 15 kilos and really put together the meal plan for you because everybody else comes to us for this reason. And what's like the main thing for for you coming to professional help rather than like I don't know, start doing everything on your own, like doing the research, everything, like get accountability by I don't know, some family members. Why looking for professional help in the first place?
Yeah. And what would they say?
Yeah, I'm not able to do it by myself. I tried in the past and I didn't stick with it.
Yeah. And at the end, it's impossible for them to say, I think I'm just going to do it
Yeah,
myself. So that's the rationale question. It does twofold. It's really good. That's in the problem awareness stage, problem awareness questions in EPQ. We're like, okay, so just so I can see the rationale, but besides, you're going to repeat back the thing they said they wanted or a
yeah,
problem. Okay. So besides you just, wanting help losing the 15, kilos, what, I guess, what's the main reason why you're looking for, kind of a outside help to come in and help you do this rather than just, I don't know, trying to, go through like basic YouTube videos and try to figure all of it out on your own, you know? But it's the way you say that rather than just trying to, I don't know, just go through like some basic YouTube videos and see if your family can help you and try to figure, I don't know, all of it out on your own. Now, if I said rather than just, trying to figure it out on your own with that tone, it doesn't do anything. Rather than just, I don't know, trying to figure all of it out on your own. See, that sounds hard the way I said it with my tone. But my tone, it's seeded what? When you say it like that, what does it seed in their brain?
It's a lot of doubt, and they remind themselves that they tried a lot of times in the past and
Yeah.
they didn't succeed.
Yeah.
And what NPQ learned me is to never like trust what they are saying and always watching on their behind their actions. And they are on the call with me. Of course, they cannot do it
Yeah.
on their own.
It's so true. I always say, with any PQ, with listening, active listening, we're listening to what the prospect means, not just what they say. Those are two very different things. Your prospect, listen to what they mean, their tone. We teach how to read tonality and body language. Don't listen to just what they say. So they're very different things. What have you learned from that?
Yeah, so I learned to by being able to listen to them, I learned to like identify non-buyer language, let's say.
Yeah.
And when they are telling me they want to try, they want to like they want to have, I was like, you want to try or you really need to
Oh, hold
get
on. You
this
want to
weight?
try to lose weight, or do you actually want to lose the weight and then keep it off where it doesn't come back? See how we do that?
Yeah.
That's a comparative frame. Now, when we've taught you how to do comparative frames, how do your prospects respond to that?
uh I see them like how you say a deer in the headlight, like all their like way of thinking just like instantly change.
Yeah, yeah. All you just did there, Vlad, is you reframed their way of thinking, right? And that's a salesperson's job. I always hear salespeople, they'll come up to me at the end of an event. They're obviously not clients. If they're clients, no client ever asks me these questions because they already know what to do. But if they're not clients, or maybe they're just following me, watching some basic, 60-second reels on IG, or, a few YouTube videos here and there, because it's basic content. We're not going to release all the advanced stuff. That's in our courses for clients. But they always will come up to me and they'll be like, well, I try to ask questions that I learn on your reels, but sometimes they say this. What am I supposed to say after? I'm like, well, you just haven't learned how to frame the question, like, because your prospects. I always say this: every objection you get, as you know, every objection you get, every prospect who procrastinates, every prospect who doesn't start with what you're offering, who doesn't buy what you're offering, comes down to the core being of human beings, that every human being has a fear of change. Every human being, we have a fear of change. Even though we say we like change, we have a fear of change. Why? Because we're afraid of the unknown. We are actually much more comfortable with something that is familiar to us, even though we don't like it that much, over something that is new, something that is foreign to us. So every prospect you talk to, Vlad, as you know, and anybody listening or watching this, especially if you're watching this on YouTube or maybe you're listening to this on the podcast, they have a core fear of change. It's your job as a sales pro to help them overcome that fear of change. Now, once you learn the skills, the questions, and the tone and the body language to do that, as Vlad will tell you, well, selling becomes pretty easy, right? 87% closing percentages. If you don't learn those skills, Vlad will also tell you what, selling is a lot harder. You go through a lot of the numbers game. You don't get paid that much by your company because you're not producing, right? So when we do that comparative frame that he just did, it instantly reframes their way of thinking from like, oh, victim mentality. I'll try it. I'll try to do this. Like, well, hold on, John. And it makes you appear like what, Vlad? In their eyes, what does it make you appear like in their eyes when you kind of challenge them a little bit?
Yeah, like an expert, and because I'm with them through the problem awareness and helping them to find problems and
Mm.
how those problems are impacting them.
Yeah,
I'm there for them, and
yeah,
I'm like a caring expert. I'm
yeah,
there for them, and I'm the expert that can
yeah.
get them the results.
How they view you now, Vlad, is they view you as a higher status. So they view you at a higher status with what you're talking about fitness than they are, much higher status. Okay. Whereas most salespeople in industry are viewed in society as a lower status, right? Because of the way they communicate. You're viewed as the expert, the trusted authority who can get them the results. So, hold on, John. Do you want to try to lose weight, or do you actually want to learn how to lose the weight where it never actually comes back? So those are two very different things. Which path do you want to go down? See how I lowered my tone into that concerned tone. And what do they do?
Yeah, they start to reframe their whole way of thinking,
Yeah.
and they start to I start to put themselves in their future state, and to really like think, but most importantly act like the person they want to become.
So true. Yeah. So you're getting them out of that victim mentality, or you could even say
Yeah,
price or cost based thinking, into results based thinking, just simply by asking that question.
yeah,
I'm reframing them into a different emotional level, like where they start to realize, hey, I can actually, in your industry, lose this weight
yeah.
and keep it off. I just need the right person to help me with this. I need the right trainer to do this with me. Okay. And that's a night and day difference. Uh, Man, congratulations on your success. I didn't know your closing percentages went from 32, 35% to 87%. That's a bit of a difference. Has your company been forced to pay you more?
Yeah, so after they saw my results, the guy that I was selling for like share my results in like a entrepreneurs group,
Yeah.
and they were like coming to me the next month, one guy on fitness, because he saw that I outsold his like I don't know 9 closers by myself.
Yeah.
He paid me way much than my commission just to like train their team,
Yeah.
and it was great. And now I'm selling on this offer, and
Yeah.
my commissions are like 2.5x what I have before in fitness.
Well done. Congratulations with what they're having to pay you now. Sounds like you can have a pretty good lifestyle, especially there in Romania.
Yeah,
What's it changed for
yeah,
you? Not even
yeah.
financially, but what's it changed for you in your life?
So for me in my life, it's like the most important thing is like I love to help people,
Yeah,
because when I was young, my father was like helpless, and I want to help them to not be in that position.
yeah,
And I saw like with the clients that I'm bringing in, they
mm,
are way more responsible. They are having better results after the cell. They are like thanking me, putting me in their prayers, and it's amazing for me to
yeah,
see that, because the results are amazing. But Romania is like 10 times cheaper than the US.
yeah.
And I kind of feel like a ninja in here, because I feel like with the other sales techniques
Yeah.
that like they are in the Stone Age, and like I'm here with like
You're like in
some
the Matrix. You're like the Matrix guy, wherever like the bullets are like going by you slower. You can see everybody's moved 10 steps ahead, whereas all the other salespeople, in your country using the older techniques are, they're just kind of struggling and frustrated when they don't have to be. Doggone it. We gotta get a bigger presence in Romania. I was in Europe for about a month this summer, and I was surprised, in Italy. I was in Sicily, Rome, and Venice, and I got stopped every day by at least 4 or 5 people just walking around the city or at dinner. Oh, we follow you, or we're a client, or whatever. Then I went to Prague, same thing, even more in Prague. I guess we have more clients in Czech Republic. I have no idea, just walking down the streets. Poland was the same thing, but I've got to get over to Romania for sure.
just let me know. I'm gonna be your tour guide and
Yeah.
squeeze a lot of yeah, squeeze as much information as I
Okay.
can because you learn me the questions.
Yeah, I come to Europe every summer. So there's a client that I meet there. So I've met him 3 summers in a row. He lives in Norway. His name's Michael Kudkowski. I've interviewed him once on my podcast, but he's now the number one life insurance or the number one actually insurance salesperson in all of Norway and all of Scandinavia. So every summer we have a tradition that he flies down to Poland because it's only like an hour flight from Oslo, and we hang out for a couple of days. So I'm gonna invite you next time to fly from Romania to Poland, not very far from you, and you can hang out with us. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, count me in.
All right, baby. Awesome. Congratulations on your results. Any last words of advice you'd give to maybe a new person that's looking to get into sales, or maybe even a vet, about how they get better?
Yeah, so for me it was like the life-changing moment when I really decided on that day to go all in and
Yeah,
not have excuses. And what you learned me the most is to whenever I don't have to use like my mind fully 100% focus on one thing, to
yeah,
just learn and learn and learn. I'm like on the groups like eight hours a day.
yeah. It's a game changer, and the important thing is, like I tell all the inner circle clients when we, because they have access to our main portal that's like 51 hours of training, but then they have access to the group sessions every week, with myself, the 4 group sessions a week, and not everybody attends every one, right? Because they're on sales calls and stuff, but they have the archives. They're going through the recordings all the time from each week, and we track that. We track like how many times they go through the portal. We track how many times they're on the live Zoom sessions. We even track how many times they go through the archive sessions because we can see all that data. And it's a night and day difference in the results. Like the clients who are in there going through the archives, recording training like once or twice. So they'll be on the live one, or they'll miss a live one and they'll go through. And even if they go to the live one, they're still going to listen to the recording of that another 1 or 2 times because they retain more each time, right? Those clients far outsell clients who maybe go through the portal half of it in a year and get on 2 training calls in a year. It's just like they're not committed to changing. They might sell 10, 15, 20% more, but they're not like tripling or quadrupling their closing percentage because it takes effort, right? Why
Yeah.
was it so important for you to put in that effort? Because you didn't have to.
Because I'm very competitive. That's why I don't go to like the live calls because I sound amazing in Romanian when I hear myself
I
in
understand. I
English.
understand.
It's
Yeah.
it's like a big difference. I have
Yeah.
to get past through that.
Yeah.
But because there is so much depth to the information. I mean, when I was firstly on watching in Inner Circle, like when you were like analyzing a guy like 7 words for like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
was like, okay, I don't know shit. I have to learn more, and there's so much
Yeah.
to it. I
We
mean,
get very nuanced in there. You're right. Like I'll take a whole sentence that they just said. And I'm like, okay, can you see how you triggered his reaction? Because we do call reviews where I can hear what they did on the call or a Zoom or even in person. They'll record it. And then I'll break down each sentence where I'm like, okay, when you said, hey, welcome to the call. Grateful for you to be on here. Thank you for taking your time to be here with me today. I know you have a busy schedule. I'm like, you probably thought that was really polite, didn't you? Yeah, I did. That just lowered your status in the prospect's brain. Because when you say things like, thank you for the opportunity of taking your time to meet with me, because I know you have a really busy schedule, that implies in your mind that that prospect has a much higher status than you, that their time should be respected, but not your time. So if they don't respect your time, they don't respect you. You're just another salesperson trying to sell them something, whereas Vlad, they respect his time because now they view him at a higher status with what he's talking about, and they view him as like the authority or the expert that can solve their problems and get them where they want to go. And as you know, Vlad, I always say people buy from salespeople and companies who they feel, who they trust, can get them the best result. It
yeah,
has not hardly anything to do if they like you. Like you like a lot of people, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to buy from them just because you like them. You might like your best friend, but you're not buying from him or her because you don't trust they can get you the best result. You might buy from a stranger on a sales call because after 30 minutes, you trust they can get you a much better result and you don't even hardly know them. That's the
Yeah,
difference.
of course.
All right. Vlad, congratulations. Well done. I'll have my assistant reach
Thank you.
out to you a couple months before I come over to Europe next summer, and we'll make sure we get you together with some of our other clients that I meet up with every summer over there. Okay.
Can wait for the next summer. Now
Yeah.
I'm a winter guy, but summer I think will be my favorite season.
I go to Europe. I go to Europe every month, every summer for a month because it's hot here where our headquarters are at in Scottsdale, Arizona. So June, July, August are really hot. So I try to get out of town about 5 to 6 weeks every summer, and I go over to Europe. So it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. And you probably don't know this, but we're opening up our European headquarters in London the second week of January. So I'll actually be over in London probably about 3 times a year, but I'll be working over there a lot more in the summers for sure.
That's nice. It's like
Okay,
2 hour
two,
ride. Not
two,
yeah.
yep, that's right, baby.
Yeah, two
All
hour
right,
by plane.
all right, everybody. Love you. Thanks, Vlad. Go to bed. I know it's late over there. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. And if you want to learn these skills, because what Vlad just kind of showed you was just little snippets of what we train you in our advanced programs. If you want to acquire those skills like Vlad has done, and he's more than almost tripled his closing percentages. If you feel like doubling, tripling your closing percentages is a good thing for you and your family, your company, just message us directly. So if you're seeing this on YouTube, send me a message. You can just comment on there like, hey, how do I get in your training programs? Because we don't have just one with one price. We look at 37 different versions for different industries that we use and stuff like that for different reasons, problems we solve for you. Or if you're hearing this on a podcast, you can join our free Facebook group. Go to salesrevolution.group, salesrevolution.group. We'll have in the show notes. You can also follow me on IG at Jeremy Lee Minor, MINER, at Jeremy Lee Minor. My verified account there has like 720, 30,000 followers. And you can always reach out and ask us questions in the DMs. Vlad, thank you for being on.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Stay out of trouble. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll see you soon.